Hello, hello, I'm the official name rater. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today, we're looking at Teddiursa, Ursaring, Ursaluna, and because they decided to make another version of it that I actually forgot and needed to update the thumbnail for, Blood Moon Ursaluna. We technically covered this one before, but because I'm searching Ursaluna, not Ursaring, it doesn't show up in the Google search results. We're going to treat this one kind of similar to how we did with Weird Deer, where we're going to look up Ursaluna, and then I'll be very selective on what kind of Ursaring stuff I want to go over. But the original Ursaring video will be down in the description below if you want to go ahead and take a look at it. It's actually funny, I literally just started writing this down because I was like, let me think of what I think would be good. And I don't know if I mentioned, sure, because I mentioned at the end of the Ursaring video, I was like, lots of famous bears, but that's it. I didn't really name any names. But Charmin was one that literally came to mind, and I'm like, that'd be perfect for Ursaring. I feel like Ursaring has, strangely, a more friendly appearance than Ursaluna, so I don't know. But Charmin was literally like the first thing that came to my mind right as I started recording this. Cocaine Bear. Just name it Cocaine. That's even funnier. And you know what? I think that that fits Ursaluna's appearance. Pooh Bear, because I think it's funny. If I were to guess, I bet Winnie the Pooh was probably something that was in the original video, and I think that's totally fine. I'm fine. I'm here for it. Winnie the Pooh, Pooh Bear. I don't know if Winnie the Pooh will fit, but Pooh Bear for sure will. Or just Pooh. The idea that they said, that's a bear, let's name it Pooh, is hilarious to me. And just, I guess for the sake of it, right above it says Luna. Do I think that's a good choice? No. But I am acknowledging this one just to say, hey, this is a Pokemon based on the moon. So we have a few examples of that, be it Umbreon, Lunatone, Lunala, just to name a few. Holy shit! Alright, this was not what I was gonna say, but you know what? Let's go ahead and start that fucking debate. I mean, I guess it's kind of relevant. Berenstein Bears. Bernstein? I don't know. It's a whole ass debate on what it's actually named, and they make fun of that in the Peacemaker show. But yeah, if you can fit that, it's probably less than 10 characters. You could literally just name it after, I think it's Berenstein is how it's technically pronounced. It just feels easier to say Bernstein or whatever, and I feel like that's kind of why people, when you're fucking like 6, you don't know how to pronounce the dumbass bears' names. I don't blame you. It's just, you kind of get clouded by the fact that, hey, I was a dumb shithead that couldn't read, and the dumb shitheads that made the book, gave a name it's too difficult for 6-year-olds to read. So, we'll highlight that one. Here's exactly Berenstain. Here's how you spell it. We're going to go ahead and copy this. Yogi from the cartoon. I mentioned it. I used a Yogi Bear joke in one of the episodes. I don't remember which bear it was for. It might not have even been for a bear. But anyway. Yogi Bear's an idea. Do I like it? Honestly, no. I just think the name's kind of shit. Is there Yogi Bears out there? Is there anything else out there in the world named Yogi? More than likely not. So it's going to stand out and be fine. I just don't think it's that good of a name. That's all. Freddy Fazbear. Only acceptable name. You know what? Someone else agreed with you. Do I have a problem with it? No. It's fine. It's just personally not my choice of top 10 fictional bears, but you gotta give credit to Five Nights at Freddy's for the legacy it has, even if that legacy is angsty elementary school kids. I'll highlight Orion. Space and astronomy, I mean astrology too, is a subject that comes up on this channel from time to time, and I think it's only fair. Orion's actually not even that popular of a nickname, ironically enough. I would say we talk about the planets more than we talk about the constellations, but actually aren't some of them constellations too? Am I crazy? Is Aries a constellation? I don't know. It's been like 14 years since I took a space science class. Never mind the gaping chasm where advertisement is. We're going to go to the top and the bottom. Smokey for Smokey the Bear. Forest fires. A reminder that there's a lot of fictional bears out there in media in the universe. And then back down there is Paddington Bear. I'll be honest with you. I don't fucking... I think we did this before. What the hell is a Paddington Bear? Isn't it a toy or something? That doesn't actually look familiar at all. Family comedy. Like, as I look more at it, it feels a little bit more familiar, but I was pretty sure it was like children's literature, and that's what Wikipedia is saying. So yeah, I feel like we talked about it before sometime recently. I don't have any problem with it. There's nothing bad to say. Hey, look, Berenstain's down there. Okay, Teddy, we're sort of acknowledging it. It's technically on the spreadsheet because that's what I mentioned at the end of the Ursaring video. Teddy Roosevelt, Teddy Bears, it's kind of there. Teddiursa, it's literally part of the name. I actually think it's insane the idea that teddy bears are a 20th century concept. Holy shit, it's actually probably about the 100th anniversary of the teddy bear. That's how fucking young the teddy bear is. Isn't that insane? You'd think something that basic would be like hundreds or thousands of years old. No, bitch, it's not. Anyway, Roosevelt is a better name than Teddy or Theater or whatever because it makes the same concept but better. So that's going to be my choice if you want to do the teddy bear direction. Baloo, below that, I mentioned at the end of the Ursaring video, I don't like Jungle Book. I don't particularly care for it. It's another fictional bear. I'm about to start categorizing this shit here in a second because there's just a lot of fictional bears. All the way at the bottom, Fozzie. That's the Muppets. Fozzie's a good name. I don't really have anything else to say about that one, but like, I don't think Muppets comes up sometimes. We'll see like Kermit, which is like nah, and then Big Bird, which is like I don't even think it's intended as a Muppets reference, but Big Bird shows up sometimes. But Fozzie, that's a good name. Not technically Rankin's credit, but I remember this one also at the end of the Ursaring episode because I literally just watched it like a few minutes ago. Fuzzy or Fuzzy Wuzzy was like a joke I remember as a kid. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Something underwear. Fuzzy Wuzzy's fine with me. I'm good with that. We're gonna write that one down too. Milky Way is a different what do you call it? Astronomy, astrology based nickname that you could use. That's in fitting to Orion and something we don't typically see all that often. Boo Boo is the also for Yogi Bear. Pedo Bear, just a reminder. Memes age. See, Roosevelt's good. Snuggle, there's another one. I don't remember if this was a suggestion or not. I feel like it was. I just don't remember what Pokemon it was because I'm positive it was not for Ursaring. But Snuggle is like I think also another brand of like toilet paper or paper towels, and it uses bear for its marketing. I'll acknowledge Sailor Moon just because it's a Pokemon related to the moon, and I don't know how many other Pokemon we've had related to the moon use the name Sailor Moon before. Mine was named Algor. I'm not sure if this is meant to be a Man Bear Pig South Park reference, but that's what my mind went to. I don't World of Warcraft, but here's one. I feel like there's probably been other things I've been kind of skipping over that mentions what they're from, but you know what? That's why we have the comments, so you guys can come up with ideas that I can't find or just don't feel like talking about. I know nothing of the sort, but I'll highlight this just to say it exists. These aren't related to Ursaluna, but these are all fantastic nicknames, and I've mentioned the idea of, the theme from Metal Gear Solid, and I love that. Bravely Default is also a really good name too. 10 out of 10 to this guy for some great names. Not technically an Ursaluna nickname as well, but Andromeda is another space-based nickname to highlight. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of disappointed that I even read this one. I mean, it had an Andromeda on it at least, but there wasn't a single mention of Ursaluna in the slightest. But anyway, we looked at the first page of Google, we found stuff on Ursaluna. We'll go ahead and go through some Teddiursa Ursaring stuff here in a second. But I guess, why the hell not? We'll go ahead, we'll look at the spreadsheet. This is for Ursaring, so just know that Ursaluna is not mentioned in the slightest. Goldilocks is a different one. That's one we haven't actually seen yet. That was one that I personally used for Cofagrigus because it's gold, it locks, and then fucking had the great story on Pokemon.net written by some genius out there. But technically, yeah, it could be worked for Bear Pokemon too. It would probably be better, but I really like Goldilocks the Cofagrigus. The comment suggestions are pretty much non-existent for this video. Alright, so I had already edited the entire episode, but I forgot to technically look up Blood Moon Ursaluna. I literally actually just did everything and then realized I wasn't actually recording. So just know, I have looked at Blood Moon Ursaluna, and I think the only thing actually really worth talking about, if you even want to talk about, was just this one here. Because he said Aurora Borealis, so he made a pun there. That was it. Everything else was the same. So from here on out, the video will continue on in its original form, starting with Ursaring nicknames coming up next. Kanai are coded after the two bears and Brother Bear. I had technically sort of acknowledged Brother Bear earlier. Alright, well, I looked a little bit at some of the Ursaring stuff, but this has been a long enough one. It's been at least 35 minutes of me doing Ursaluna stuff. And I think that's a lot of time, and we've covered a lot of nicknames. I didn't have anything written down prior to, I mean, I just wrote down a bunch of stuff. And we looked at all the other stuff, but let's go ahead and look at some comment suggestions first before we close things off. Kesagake, I saw this, I feel like quite a few times, but maybe I'm crazy. Bad News Bear, that's fine, I guess. Strong competitive. I do remember that. Cocaine Bear. Yeah, we saw that too. Freddy Fazbear. Saw that too. Okay, so let's go over all the shit that we saw. A lot of it in popular media. One that I mentioned at the end of the Ursaluna video, which was not mentioned here, was Banjo from Banjo-Kazooie, and I was like, I might use that because that's a doofus name. It is a doofus name, and I love it. Do I think it fits Ursaluna? Not particularly, but it's still going to be in the back of my mind. Now, with that in mind, there's so much fictional bear stuff for me to cover. Just get ready, okay? Starting with the Berenstein Bears. Winnie the Pooh, Pooh Bear. Paddington Bear. Goldilocks. Yogi Bear, Baloo, Fozzie, Freddy Fazbear, Charmin, Snuggle, Smokey, Fuzzy Wuzzy, and then we'll end it off with Teddy Roosevelt, or just Roosevelt, personally. What other bear Pokemon are there? Because I know there's other bear Pokemon. The first thing that comes to mind is Beartic, and I know there's at least one other. I just can't think of what. Regardless, if you can think of a bear Pokemon, we've probably covered it. There's like I'm gonna say a 90% chance we have. You know, as long as it's not a Gen 10 Pokemon. Gen 9, excuse me. Gen 10 as well. Haven't covered any Gen 10 stuff yet. Viv, take a look at that. Take a look at some of the moon-based Pokemon, or space-based Pokemon, which we've mentioned a few times as well. There's a lot of stuff as far as bears, and this feels like probably the best place to go for bear-based nicknames, probably. So, any other ideas and suggestions you have, feel free to put in the comments below. Give a thumbs up to the ones you think are good. Let us know what you'd use, what you recommend. Holy shit, that was a lot of bears.